I grew up as very really introvert and shy, even with people I knew. So even thinking that I could have a conversation with a stranger would be even crazier. Every single approach gives maybe 0.0001% more social confidence after 1 or 2 years of doing approaches. Then it just happened. It was luck, but if I didn't do the journey before of all the approaches before, this would never happen.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I have a very special guest with me, a client who actually went through the coaching program with me. And we worked for many months together, I would say more than a year at this point. But finally, you've reached the goal that you actually were aiming for at the beginning, which is to have a loving relationship. And it's a very exciting journey that we went on together. And I wanted to share that with the audience. So why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and what your background was when you started in this program?
When I started the program, I had talking about dating. I had very little experience about dating. I was, with very few girls before, and I stopped even looking for it, let's say, and I found this program by coming to the meetup at East Side Mall. So through the meetup app, because one Wednesday evening I didn't know what to do, and I just went there. And I did it just to try out new things, but not even for dating. I saw it was called offline dating in the mall, but I didn't even understand what exactly it meant. It looked interesting, so I went. And then I realized that it was for to speak to people in real world, and I did my first approaches in my whole life there in the mall. Actually, I think the very first one was Achille, who told me go to that girl and say hi, and it felt really crazy, but also great afterwards. So I really liked this idea, and I decided to continue, not only for dating, but because it would give me a meaning also in such a difficult city like Berlin with lots of people. It also gives a meaning when you are in social settings, at least for me.
What do you mean, a meaning?
Like you are for me, being in social settings were always very confusing before, not even from a dating point of view, but in general, it was very hard to, like I was in a club or whatever, anywhere or in an event, in a meetup, and I found it really difficult. I didn't know how to deal with that and how to manage myself, why I was there, what should I do there. So this thing of approaching, putting it in a more, let's say, systematic way, or having a name and knowing that there are some other people too who do the same, it really helped me a lot to go to whatever. It could be a bar or an event or a meetup or even after a year, even while waiting for the metro. Yeah, it gives much more meaning knowing that this is possible.
Why did you not think that it was possible before? What was stopping you from doing that before? Because when you think about it, approaching is no magic. It's just starting a conversation, just saying hello. It's just initiating an interaction. Why was that not part of your possibilities before you met me?
Yeah, probably no one told me that, or it wasn't. Yeah, no one told me that it was possible, so I didn't. I wouldn't find out by myself probably, because I grew up as very really introvert and shy, even with people I knew. So yeah, even thinking that I could have a conversation with a stranger would be even crazier. So.
I guess it was also difficult for you coming from a different country, not necessarily speaking the German language. How was it for you to make that switch?
Well, it took some years in general to get used to the city and to the new environment. But this was one of the things that helped the most, I would say. This approaching thing, also going with other people. I first started with other people to do these approaches, and then after a while, I also learned by myself. But yeah, in the first years I was in Berlin, I felt sometimes kind of lost because it was so different from what I was used to. Especially these huge amounts of people meeting new people every day. For the first year, it was really overwhelming. And when I had my first, let's say, sessions or evenings in some events, when I was talking to many people, the days after I was kind of burned out. I need some days to to recover these social energies because it was just something very new for me. But I would say now, after 2 years that 1 or 2 years that I've been doing this, it's going better. I can do one evening and talk to many new people. And the day after, maybe I can't do it every day, but the day after I still have my energies. I don't feel completely burned out as it was at the beginning.
Let's talk about that process. In the beginning, how did it feel for you to walk up to people and start an interaction? And what kind of results also did you get at the very beginning?
Well, at the very beginning, the result was just getting the attention from the person. That this person would realize that I was there. So the very first times it was like this, not even a conversation. After maybe, I think I was low in this because I didn't do it very regularly and systematically. But maybe after some times, after maybe 1 or 2 months, the first result would be to have a small conversation.
And how did you manage to stay motivated through that first 2 months where the only reaction was like, oh, hello, and that's it? That would probably feel very painful, and most people out there might have tried this actually, and a lot of them say after doing it 15 or 20 times and getting that kind of lukewarm reaction, they just say, oh, this is not for me, this is too painful. How did you manage to push through that?
I think it was different things. First of all, that I did it together with other people, either in the meetup or with the wingman. Can we say it like this? So when you do it with someone, it helps a bit because maybe the interaction is not so good, but then you can go back to that person and say, okay, it was like this, well done anyway. So this was the first thing. But then it was also a motivation inside myself, let's say, because, as I said, I felt a bit lost in this city, and this kind of system gave me a motivation that I knew at least what to do, and I took it as a challenge for myself. Like it was challenging myself, so no matter about the results. I didn't even think really it would help for dating. Of course, I was hoping for this, but I did it more for myself as a challenge, let's say, to say I'm able to do this. And
so after a couple of months, you started getting a bit more positive reactions where people were starting to have small conversations with you. And how did that feel to have that breakthrough moment, that first kind of step forward?
Yeah, it felt good, of course. Every new step felt good. It was ever easy, especially at the beginning, but after that, it always felt good. So I felt like, the improvement was really slow, but I could see it was happening. As I said, coming as a complete introvert before, that also with many social issues, like even not many friends and so on. It was really, it was really something. I thought everyone can do this, no matter how introvert or extrovert you are. Maybe as an introvert, I could even get more motivation to do it. So.
And at some point, you also decided to work more closely with me. At some point, you joined my long-term program, and you also got access to the mindset modules that I have in my program. How did that support you on your journey?
Yeah, watching the videos was very useful for many different reasons, not only for approaches, but let's say for approaches, it was useful to start doing it by myself. Because until then, I was doing it always with other people. I wouldn't have the courage to do it just by myself at the supermarket or at the way to work or whatever. So especially, yeah, watching the videos and hearing you saying the whole time you have to do approaches and so on, hearing it 1,000 times, of course, helped somehow. It influenced a bit my brain or something. And what really helped was doing the first exercise that you said, the one that it was just about how to open. So listening to the audio and then doing it in the supermarket.
Also, you don't know this. I have a part in the program where I guide people through a session where they go out and they can listen to my voice while I explain exactly what they should be doing step by step while they're going out and socializing. Those usually include some kind of warm-up and then some kind of challenges and exercises in the social realm so that you get led to be more proactive and more social. Do you remember what was the exercise that you liked the most from all of these guided sessions that we had?
Yeah, probably doing the meditation in the social setting. I think that helped because then I was really relaxed. So I just sat down on a bench. I mean, it was a street with some people walking around. I was just sitting down in a bench. It still felt a bit weird to close my eyes and try to meditate for some minutes. But I think that was my favorite. And then wishing all the other people good. Yes.
What other changes did you feel from this whole process? Other than getting good at socializing, did you feel like other areas of your life were also getting affected by this coaching cooperation?
Yes, yeah, of course.
Can you tell us more about that?
I was helped especially by this mastermind group that we had. It really helped a lot with everything. Also because we became really good I would say mastermind buddies or something like this. So we really support each other very well. But yeah, I think it helped in many other areas, like this thing of finding the right habits and sticking to them. For example, if setting goals for the quarter and then deciding the hobbies according to that, it was really useful for all life areas to, let's say, I would do this anyway, but this was in a more structured way. And also to do it together with other people helps a lot to do it better, I think. Because then we check on each other and we get feedback about it.
And also in your line of work, the social confidence was an issue and you felt that's also something you need to fix, not just for your dating life, but also for your success in your career. Can you tell us a bit more about how your social confidence journey and how your career journey kind of interacted?
Yeah, I would say they went together because when you get to more confident, like approaches give you social confidence that you can use wherever you want after that. Because every single approach gives maybe 0.0001% more social confidence in general that you can apply also in other areas of life, like especially at work when dealing with difficult situations at work.
And then you went on, we did a few boot camps together, we actually went out together to some of those social events. How was it when I was there with you? Like when we went out together, how did that feel for you?
Yeah, well, it helped a lot, of course, because we started with very simple approaches just to warm up, but super simple ones. And then when you start from this, then you can increase and you can get to slowly get to better ones. And of course, it helps a lot to have you tell me what to do. Of course, it can't be like this every time, unfortunately, but then I kept it in mind for when I was doing it by myself.
And then at some point we went to a big event with loads of people, and there you actually met your girlfriend, who's now your girlfriend. And I'd like you to maybe tell us the story of how that happened exactly. And back then, if you think of that time, did you believe that this could actually happen?
No, that day we were just there to meet people. I was just there because I hadn't been approaching for a while, and I wanted to get back in it a bit. And also, yeah, of course, this was also the hope, but it was just because I liked the event and so on. What can I say? Then it just happened after after many approaches, after 1 or 2 years of doing approaches, then it just happened. All the right things came together. But of course, it was luck. But if I didn't do the journey before of all the approaches before, this would never happen. Yeah. So.
I wonder if there was something special about that person, or there was something special about that woman, or that situation. What was the reason that this one clicked and this one actually led to a relationship? What do you think?
I think if two people are compatible, if the two people are compatible, of course, this was for sure, and maybe it was the right moment. Like probably it was the right moment for both of us. Like if it was 2 or 3 years ago, for me it wouldn't be the right moment, even if I met the right person. I think it's these two things. But when you, with some experience of approaching it, I think you kind of can understand it. And if it clicks at some point, it just clicks. So.
Do you remember, were you very nervous when you talked to her, or was it under control?
No, I wasn't, because I had done already quite some approaches before. So
On the same day, maybe around 5 or 10 other interactions.
yeah, I think 5 or even 6 or 7. Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, right? When you've done already 6, 7 short conversations, an 8th, 9th, 10th doesn't make a difference. Even if it is a bad rejection, you're like, I got rejected before just a few minutes ago, and it didn't really hurt. So I can get rejected as many times as necessary. I don't care.
For me, it was, I already did what I had already done what I was supposed to do in that day, and then it was like a bonus one. It wasn't even part of the target of the day. So,
If you were to describe your current confidence level in conversations as compared to a couple of years back, how does it feel now in comparison to back then? What's the difference?
it's much better, of course. It can still be improved, because I think this area of life can always be improved, especially coming from a very introvert background. But I would say if some years ago it was 3, now it's out of 10. Now it's 6 or 7, so it's much more. It depends on the day a lot. There are some days that I'm really good and I'm not even nervous. Some days I'm still nervous and the other person can feel it, but it's also a bit good to be a bit nervous, I think. But yeah, it depends a lot on the day. But I would say it increases a lot.
Is there anything that you would tell people who are undecided about whether they should go on this journey? There's a lot of people watching who are like, yeah, sounds good, but it's too much work, or maybe I'm not sure if I should start working with someone professionally and I can just do it on my own. What do you say to those people that are watching and they're like, I'm not sure if this is right for me?
I would say if you take it seriously, and if you do, I mean, if you do everything, or you try to do everything, it will bring an important change for sure. So it needs a lot of work, and it's not easy at all. But if you accept it and you follow everything, it can really bring a change. So. Of course, it needs time and energy, and but if this kind of change is what you want, it can be a right program for it, I think. So
now, looking back, on all the journey that you had, do you still think that cold approaching is a good way to do it, or for you at least,
I think it's a good way because it can work or not, but it increases social confidence at any level. Like even for a date, even when you go out with a girl that you didn't meet like this, but it still increases your confidence for that. Or even in less cold approaches, like when you are at events where it's a bit less, or at a home party, this kind of events that is not so cold approach. So I think it's cold approaching is very good for social confidence in general, and sometimes it even works. And maybe the percentage is not so high, but if you do it a lot of times, it can work. And if you include it in everyday life, like without needing to spend the whole day doing approaches sessions, it doesn't even cost so much time. Like you can just do it on the way to work or at wherever there are people. So yeah, online dating never worked. I mean, I had a few dates, but it was totally weird and incompatible, at least for me. So for me, it didn't work, never.
Great. I think that's really all for now. Thanks so much for sharing the stories, and wishing you all the best for the next few steps in your life, relationship-wise and otherwise. All the best.